Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And boy, did I get this one wrong as the Sharks getting a shootout with the Seattle Kraken, 8-5 loss for the Sharks. And Timo Meier scores a hat trick, but not enough. So we're going to break down the game, talk about the defensive lapses that occurred all throughout this game, Timo Meier being amazing, and more on your Thanksgiving edition of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin, San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first Thanksgiving listen of the day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch this on YouTube as well. And I thought this game was going to be a tightly contested, very minimum offense, kind of defensive struggle. Maybe a team gets to 3 goals. And no, that was not what happened. It was an 8-5 absolute barn burner shootout. Teams just trading goals and chances, and neither goaltender being able to do too much with it. So I'm gonna discuss, the defense and the lapses and the goaltending and that later. But I think you have to start with Timo Meier, right? Timo, after a very slow start to the season, has turned it on. Hat trick tonight. All of them just absolutely gorgeous goals. The first one on one of the best 4-on-3s you are ever going to watch, with great passing between Karlsson and Couture, and then Meier finishing it up with like the way he can, just ripping it from the dot there. Mini breakaway where Meier just absolutely snipes it past Martin Jones, and Martin Jones just nothing. I don't care who. There's not many goalies stopping that one right there. And then the last one was a Kevin LeBanc kind of making the nice play, jumping on a puck, and then Timo Meier with a nice tap in there. But Timo Meier, I made the prediction of 90-point Timo Meier. He had me worried in the first 10 games, but he's turned it around, and I think he's at he's at 21 points now in 22 games. So he's on his way. He is on his way to being a potential 90-point guy if he can continue the pace that he's on. And the Sharks are going to have a major decision with him, but there's plenty of time to get into potential Timo trade talk. For now, let's enjoy Timo Meier and kind of what he's doing right now. And I think the power play, kind of going back to that power play of how well David Quinn's power play works, and especially where he's just he realizes he's got 5 or 6 guys right now, right? So you have Karlsson, Timo, Hertl, Couture, Barabanov, and then LeBanc. You can kind of swap out Barabanov and LeBanc basically, but you have your group of 5 guys, and you're just going to let them go out there and do their thing, and you're going to give them an opportunity, right? That power play plays for whenever there's a power play, they play for at least 90 seconds. David Quinn believes in those guys, and he's going to kind of ride those guys right now because he knows that is kind of his meal ticket to be able to score. It's Karlsson, Couture, Hertl, and Meier, right? Those 4 guys are the ones who are driving the bus offensively. And Timo Meier is kind of a perfect fit for this, where it's just having all the shots kind of force fed to him and letting him rip. And he's taken full advantage of it right now. So again, Sharks are going to have a big question of what to do with Meier, but plenty of time to kind of break that down at a later date. And then I think Logan Couture, I was a little worried about Couture at the beginning of the season, but that line with him and Barabanov are working. Couture's up to 11 goals now for the season. So he's tied with Erik Karlsson for second on the team. Timo Meier leapfrogged both of them with his hat trick tonight. But if Couture, the analytics and the number, like the underlying numbers, aren't great right now, but Couture is producing. And for a team right now that is scoring more, but I mean, it's a very concentrated with the scoring. He is one of the reasons why they're actually even in a lot of these games with his ability to score. So Couture having himself a pretty solid season if he keeps this up. I mean, he's looking at a potential 30 goal season for him right now. I mean, I guess he'd be close to 40 at this rate. But I mean, if Logan Couture scores 30 goals, you're gonna, if you told me before the season started, Logan Couture scored 30 goals, you'd be pretty happy with that. And he's on pace to do that right now, and it's scoring goals the way he does, right? He's, kind of a sneaky, greasy goal guy where, he does have the nice shot. Of course, you can see that on the power play, but he's a get to the front of the net, get my stick down, I'm going to score some of the greasy goals. And he's doing it right now. And I think having Barabanov on his line, Barabanov, we've seen his ability to, win puck battles, control the puck, use his body well. But then I think Barabanov's vision and passing and finding Couture who can kind of get those greasy goals in there. And he did it again tonight. So, yeah, I mean, offensively, this is what you want to see, right? It kind of proves that if you need to get into a shootout type of situation and you need to score goals, you can score goals. The Sharks were able to do that. Barabanov scoring on a great tip from a Matt Benning shot. And then, Timo Meier scoring 3 whenever, it's great to see Timo Meier scoring goals. And then Logan Couture adding in as well. So, Erik Karlsson also hit the post 2 times in the first period. If he's, half an inch over, that's another goal, 2 goals potentially from Erik Karlsson as well. So good to see the offense coming alive, but the defense is, we're going to talk about the defense here in a minute. So before we do that, I do want to share that today's episode is sponsored by BetOnline, and BetOnline has got you covered with more odds, props, lines than ever before. You get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football, it's Thanksgiving today. Plenty of football to bet on. If I'm just picking money line winners, give me the Bills, give me the Cowboys, and then give me the Vikings. But I don't feel good about the Vikings one. So give me all 3 of those. But if you don't want football, you got basketball, hockey, soccer, World Cup right now, esports, anything under the sun, they've got you covered over at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, you can find those over at BetOnline as well. The fastest and easiest way to get all your betting fixed in. So head to their website today. Use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay, the defense. You can't just leave guys wide open in front of Kaapo Kahkonen. And Kaapo Kahkonen didn't really have a great game. I mean, whenever you let 7 in, it doesn't, that's not a great game, right? And, I talked about in the preview episode of, Kaapo Kahkonen, his high danger save has been the kind of his bugaboo, right? Is those saves up close when you really need to have them. And the Kraken usually don't generate a lot of high danger chances, but they take advantage of them. And that was kind of the story tonight, except for they generated a fair amount of high danger chances and they took advantage of a lot of them. So all situations, the Kraken, they only generated 7 high danger chances compared to the Sharks 13. So the Sharks had way more high danger chances, but all situations, Kaapo Kahkonen had 2 high danger chances, or two high danger saves on 6 shots. So one of those high danger shots was when the goalie was on an empty net, right? And I think it was Couture, somebody blocked it. Anyway, so Kaapo Kahkonen had 2 high danger saves on 4, and had left 4 goals for a high danger save percentage of 3.33. Medium danger, 9 shots, 6 saves, 0.66, 2/3, right? Then low danger, he was 10 for 10. Some of them, it was like, there's not much you can do about it, right? Especially when there's just, Ryan Donato all by himself, because both Ferraro and Cicek try to play the man behind the net. And it felt like Ferraro should have hung back with Ryan Donato, and Cicek should have gone and played Daniel Sprong, who was behind the net, and set up Ryan Donato, right? Bjorkstrand, Mario Ferraro, or no, who is it? That was Steven Lorentz. He loses the puck along the boards. All the Sharks are basically along the boards, or starting to try to make the transition out. And then Yanni Gord, he kind of steals the puck and finds Oliver Bjorkstrand. And Bjorkstrand just puts Kaapo Kahkonen in the torture chamber there. Just absolutely beautiful hands, and skies it right there. Jaden Short's one. Kaapo probably wants back. It was a bit of a screen on him, but again, like, how many guys were just the Matty Beniers one? How many guys were just taking wide open shots right in the middle of the slot right there? The Matty Beniers goal was kind of a rush play. None of the forwards get back. Matty Beniers is wide open in the middle, and Matty Beniers is way too good to just give him 20 feet of room right there. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Kaapo Kahkonen, again, Kahkonen, you got to try to get a save there at some point, but the defensively, they did not help him at all. And I wanted to see, could Kaapo Kahkonen, he had a great game against the Sens. You saw the high danger save percentage was, he has a perfect night against the Sens. Follows it up tonight. And it's not like Martin Jones was, kind of shutting it down over there either. But, this is just one of those games where there's a lot of offense. But the defensive structure of the Sharks tonight was atrocious. A lot of guys making play, trying to either do too much or not make the correct play, right? And again, it's just miscommunication, leaving guys wide open, just stuff like that, where, again, entertaining hockey, believe me, watching a lot of goal scoring is really fun. I'm sure David Quinn was probably pulling out of his hair just that beautiful salt and pepper hair of his, watching this game and just seeing so many defensive lapses. And I know at the end you're down a couple goals and you're trying to kind of generate offense, especially, the Matty Beniers one, right? You're trying to generate offense and you're trying to push. You're down a goal at that point, 6-5. There's less than 5 minutes left. You're trying to get back, tie this thing up. And I kind of get that, right? But some of these other ones where it's just two defenders trying to make the same play instead of, each one kind of taking their responsibility. And it's, this team, again, there's a lot of issues on the defense, with guys, making dumb plays, not making the right play. And, I think it's time to ask some questions about certain guys, maybe certain guys who got a new contract this year. Mario Ferraro. Again, I did my kind of 20 game breakdown of where we're at. And again, if someone tell me, what does Mario Ferraro do for you? He blocks shots. He seems like a great guy in the locker room. I just don't see it. I'm worried that this contract is going to age really poorly, really quickly, because I don't see a player who's getting better. And yes, he is probably asked to do too much because the Sharks just don't have anybody else, right? Radim Šimik, great bottom pair defenseman. Matt Benning, great bottom pair defenseman. Mark-Edward Vlasic, very, very expensive, but great bottom pair defenseman. Erik Karlsson, one of the best defensemen in the league. So you have, a lot of Erik Karlsson is awesome, and then a lot of guys who would be kind of bottom pair defensemen on quality teams. And a lot of these guys are kind of asked to do too much. I think Mario Ferraro is that. He is asked to do too much, and he's just unfortunately just not that guy. So, yeah, it's Ferraro seems like a great guy, but again, you are paid to be a quality defenseman, and right now you're just not being that guy right now. So, I don't even want to pull up the money puck from thing tonight, but I'm sure it is. It's probably not pretty, at least for the Ferraro. Let's Yeah, Mario Ferraro was. Where is Ferraro? Offensively, he did okay. Expected goals for at 0.57. Let's see, the old Corsi, he was at 44%. 12 shots for, 15 shot attempts against. Again, it's not like as much offense as this game had, it was actually pretty even when it comes to it. So all situations, Corsi 54 to 54. So both teams took 54 shot attempts. Actual shots on goal, 27 to 27. Like it's a very fairly even game. The Sharks had more high danger chances, just like I talked about in the preview episode, right? The Kraken, they're better at kind of taking advantage of those opportunities, and they did it again tonight. So before we kind of we'll kind of dig into the lines a little bit and kind of see how each individual line played, and then some final thoughts. Do want to let you guys know, of course, about the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out the Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard, behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. All right, so finally, we'll dig into some of the lines here and see how each line performed. And so again, kind of the same run that we've had recently, right? Labanc, Hurdle, Meier, Nieto, Couture, Barabanov, Gregor, Benito, Kahkonen, and then Lindblom, Lawrence, and Gadovich, and it's been much of the same. I thought the Couture line would probably kind of struggle to generate more offense than it actually did. But Labanc, Hurdle, Meier, 1250 time on ice together, 16 shot attempts for 8 allowed. Actual shots on goal was actually 4 to 5. So they're taking a lot of shots, but they just weren't getting through. Had 2 goals, gave up a goal. And then scoring chances, they provided 11 scoring chances, gave up 4. So again, that quality opportunities from that line. High danger chances for, they had 3, they gave up 1. And then a lot of this game with so many goals scored, right? There's not as many offensive zone opportunities. So they had 3 offensive zone, 8 neutral zone, and then 3 defensive zone. The Nieto, Couture, Barabanov line, pretty solid night, actually. Little over 10 minutes played. 12 shot attempts for, 5 shot attempts allowed. Actual shots was 9 to 3. Goals, they had 2. You had the Barabanov and then the Couture goal as well. Expected goals for 0.69. Good, very nice. And then scoring chances were 7 to 2. High danger was 5 to 1. And had some, 4 offensive, 9 neutral zone, 2 defensive zone starts. Gregor, Benito, Kahkonen, a little under 10 minutes played, 6 shot attempts for, 16 allowed. And then shots for was 4 to 7, did give up a goal as well. Expected goals for was 0.18. And then they had 3, 5, and 2. And then the Lindblom, Lawrence, Gadovich line, 4 shot attempts for, 4 allowed. Shots on goal was actually 2 to 2. Gave up 2 goals, which is not good when you give up 2 goals on 2 shots. So, and then it was kind of 1-1-1 for them for the starting. So it's good to see this Couture, Barabanov, Matt Nieto scoring despite me. But this line has really kind of solidified themselves and given the Sharks 2 competent lines. The sucky thing is the bottom 6, especially with Nico Sturm out right now. The bottom 6 is just kind of not even treading water. They're struggling, right, to kind of generate anything offensively, and you feel that basically it's okay. Hurtelmeyer, LeBanc, they're out there doing stuff. Couture, Barabanov, they're kind of following up, and then okay, now we're going to spend the next 2 shifts in our own zone. Hurtelmeyer, can you guys go generate some more offense for us? So, that's. I think it's going to be like this. Well, I mean, but there's not a magic elixir that's going to fix the bottom 6 right now. Even when Nico Sturm was playing, it's not like they were generating a lot of shots. Nico Sturm was just doing a good job of kind of capitalizing on his shots. And, the defense, again, it's a lot of, if Erik Karlsson isn't making magic happen, the defense is also kind of struggling. So I think we see Radim Šimić back in the lineup, especially with how poorly the defense played. I don't know who's going to be the sacrificial goat. I assume it'll be Nick Cicek, kind of being the sacrificial goat in this game. But I expect David Quinn to make some lineup decisions. I know they're a little shorthanded right now, especially with Nico Sturm on IR, and then James Reimer's out. They're kind of a little shorthanded. I wouldn't expect them to call up any Barracuda guys, especially, but I mean, Barracuda are on the road. I think they're going to Vegas right now. And then Vegas and then Bakersfield, I think, to end the road trip. But yeah, real quick on the CUDA. It was an ugly game. I was watching, so I had both on. CUDA lose 5-1 to the Ontario Reign. The Reign are really good team, filled with a lot of very talented prospects because the Kings are very good at drafting, and like Quentin Byfeld's down there, like they're really stocked team. But it was kind of the same with the CUDA, where you can kind of tell, like usually in the first 5-10 minutes, how this CUDA game is going to go, because if they can't kind of get things established, you can kind of tell it's just going to be one of those games. And the Reign did a good job kind of coming out and putting the pressure on the CUDA right away. And that was kind of it. It was, I think, 4-0 after the first period, just because, the Reign are very good. But, Eetu Makademi, I thought he got kind of the same story for him, where he got hung out to dry a bunch of times. There was a lot of just really great passes, a lot of great setup plays to kind of set up the scores for the Reign. But again, just kind of those defensive structures. I know the CUDA are down. Ryan Merkley didn't play. He was scratched. Nick Cicek, of course, is up with the Sharks. And then Derek Pouliot looks like he's going to be out for a while. His wife posted some Instagram pictures. He's got the big old sleeve thing on his arm that looks like, I don't know if there's pins in it or anything, but it looks like it's he's going to be out for a while. So you're down 3, the big defenseman for you. So it's kind of a lot of the same with from last year with the Barracuda, where they don't have the horses on the blue line to kind of keep up, and especially if you start kind of picking some of those guys out, that's kind of what you get. But Robbins did score the 1 goal. You saw Bordelot had a couple chances, just wasn't able to capitalize. And again, it was kind of much the same thing of when, it's usually in that first 5-10 minutes, you can tell if they kind of have that jump, if they can score early, they kind of get the momentum going. But I mean, again, it's a young team, and they're learning how to go through this process right now. So of how to win and how to kind of battle that adversity and all that fun kind of coach speak stuff. But, so we'll see. Since Dell is up, I assume we'll see Strauss-Mann on Friday when they play Henderson. Henderson is not a very good team. So good opportunity for the CUDA to grab a win there. Then Bakersfield's a pretty good team, so it's going to be a tough one for them this weekend when they play them. So if you can split those 2 games, I think you'll feel pretty solid about yourself coming back after this road trip. So, but yeah, that's going to do it for this Thanksgiving edition of Locked On Sharks. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Get you guys ready for the Kings game. Get to see our old friends down south for the first time this year. Too bad Timo Meier didn't save his hat trick for them. That's for you, Sarah. But that's fine. He's just gonna score 5 goals against the Kings. It'd be great. So yeah, we'll get you guys ready for the Kings game on Friday. And then we'll next week we got Habs. They started a road trip here, I think, soon too. So another East Coast swing. So yeah, that's going to be it. Follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. You can listen wherever you get podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, Amazon Music, all those places. You can listen, watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. That way you know whenever a new episode comes out. They get posted right there right away. And yeah, until then, bye, friends.